boys and girls. So today I'm going to read The Stone Garden, and I'm just going to go over a couple of things with you, have a couple of questions for you, and then we'll have a discussion later during live meet today, and also I'll have a discussion with you guys about it tomorrow. So what can happen when someone has a new idea? I want you to take focus, because in this story, someone has a new idea and something evolves from it. Something more happens from it, okay? So I want you guys to think about that. So The Stone Garden, the author is Sherry Yugaki and illustrator is Miki Sakamoto. Okay, so it's a realistic fiction, takes place in a setting that seems real. The story takes place in a yard in a big city. For starters, I want you guys to look at this picture, right? And look at how, it kind of looks lonely, right? And looks messy. There's a problem with this. Looks like there's a lot of junk, right? And it just doesn't look neat. So let's see what happens. Momoko sat on the steps of her new home. This yard needs a garden, she told her dog, Pokey. The yard was bordered on all sides with homes like hers, except for 3 old tires and a few empty crates. It was a cold and bare as the moon. Page 213, turn the page. The caretaker walked by. Hello, Momo girl, he said. Mr. B, is that your land? That is no man's land, Mr. B said, because no man has the time to do a thing with it. May I do something with it? Momoko asked. Mr. B shrugged. Why not, as long as it does not make more work for me. What do you guys think she's going to do with it? Let's read. The first thing this poor unwanted yard needed was a cleaning, Momoko decided. So she picked up every bit of litter, she swept and re-swept the ground clear. Then she and Pokey made a game of piling the tires in the corner and taking the crates to another. Next, she filled her pockets with all the stones they could carry. Now she was ready to plant. She used an old spoon her mother gave her to dig a furrow. Into the furrow went the stones. Plop, plop, plop. She gently covered the stones with earth and watered them with a coffee can. Then she sat down and wished and waited. By now, everyone in the complex was watching her from behind their curtains. Some called her that silly girl, but they were curious. One by one, they came outside. I've planted a stone garden, Momoko answered everyone who asked. She was so proud of her work. Do you guys see? She looks so happy. A stone garden? Ha! Said one man. Momoko smiled and kept working. The man returned a while later. Here, he said gruffly, and handed her a potted yellow pansy. Momoko thanked him. She replanted the pansy in the ground, and they both stood back to admire it. Later, a young woman stopped by and asked Momoko what she was doing. I've planted a stone garden, she said. The young woman laughed, but as Momoko continued to weed and water, she too went away and returned with a gift. They're tulips, she explained, as she offered a bag of bulbs. Momoko thanked her and planted the bulbs all over the yard. Just filling it up, right? Little by little. One morning, Momoko found that someone had buried the 3 unused tires along one side of the yard. Inside each tire was a tiny rose bush. The next day, she found 2 empty crates refilled with dirt. One crate held several young tomato plants. The other had 2 markers in it. One said carrots and the other said peas. And so it went. Every day, something was different. Mr. B lent Momoko a hose. A pair of little apple trees appeared. One day, a neighbor left a butterfly bush with red blossoms. A basket of herbs showed up besides the vegetable crates with a small stone line to protect it. As the stone garden grew, Momoko met more and more of her neighbors. Chairs popped up like mushrooms outside people's front doors. In the evenings, people would sit and visit. Some would help Momoko take care of the garden. Momoko loved the trees and shrubs and flowers, but she was most excited about the vegetables. She almost burst with happiness when one mild morning it happened. A tender sprout unwound itself and poked its head out of the soft dirt. Oh, Momoko cried. She ran to share the news. Everyone came out to see the small miracle. Who would have believed it, said Mr. B. Who would have believed you could grow such a garden here? Momoko knelt down to gaze at all the living green things. Who would have believed that you could grow what you could grow from a pocket full of stones? Okay, so I'm definitely going to talk to you guys during live meet, probably tomorrow, about what does this mean? Who would have believed that you could grow from a pocket full of stones? What did she mean by that? Okay, so there are so many great things about the story, the lesson that it teaches you, and the good deeds, and how your ideas can evolve and make other people come around and share your ideas with you and help you. So I want you guys to go ahead and answer the 2 questions that I posted, and during live meet today I'll take a few minutes definitely to go over your answers. The questions I'm posting in our classroom. So one is, what is the theme of the story? And the second question is, what can happen when someone has a new idea? So I hope you guys enjoyed the story. I really did. And I will see you soon. Bye, guys.